As someone who has 100%ed Warhammer 2 and now Warhammer 3, I thought it'd be helpful to make a little video about how to get some of the more difficult achievements and just some general tips on how to improve campaign strategies. Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dustin Duren and welcome to what I've learned from 100%ing Warhammer 3. First off, I'm making this video when Immortal Empires is in beta, so I'm assuming there's going to be a bunch of achievements once Immortal Empires comes out fully, but all of these are the achievements that are not for Immortal Empires. However, you can get a lot of the achievements in Immortal Empires beta, and I'll get to the ones that you cannot. But it's basically just the campaign completion ones. So say if you're trying to complete a Khorne campaign, you won't be able to do it on Immortal Empires. You have to beat the campaign through the Realm of Chaos. And I'm not going to be going over every achievement. A lot of them are pretty self-explanatory, like specific buildings and completing campaigns are easy enough. And the first achievement I'm going to go over specifically is Obliterate the Odds. This was the last achievement I got and what I thought was the hardest achievement, which apparently other people are not having this problem, but I swear somehow they're just getting super lucky. I don't understand it. I think a lot of people do already know outnumbered is not right. This is very poorly worded. You know what? No, it's not even poorly worded. This is just wrong. It has nothing to do with the number of enemies or the cost of the armies. I experimented multiple times in multiple scenarios. It has to do with balance of power, and it has to be incredibly one-sided. So even if you go into auto-resolve and it's a decisive defeat, that's not enough. When I was trying to get this achievement, I won battles where it was supposed to be a decisive defeat, and I still did not get this achievement. I fought and won multiple decisive defeat battles on easy, normal, and hard battle difficulty and could not get this achievement to pop. I finally had to cheese this with a single legendary lord sieging a walled settlement with an army inside. So I used a maxed out Fate Weaver, praise Tzeentch, but I have no idea how 20% of people are getting this. That seemed really high for what I think is the most difficult achievement to obtain. Please, if you're one of the people who got this, let me know how you got it. Because I feel like I'm missing something and it just does not make any sense to me. But anyways, moving on, Trader Raider can be kind of tricky. You're playing as the ogres, destroy a caravan belonging to Cathay. So Cathay's caravans basically just pop out of settlements, and it's hard to determine where they will since there are several different routes, and you do have to be at war with the faction, which you might not be, like I normally don't want to be. So as Goldtooth, I wanted to ally with Cathay because my trade routes get me a lot of money, and Cathay, they're pretty strong factions that don't ever get wiped out unless you do it. So they have a lot of trade potential. But anyways, if you wanted to, you could do some save scumming to when you see a caravan, revert to a previous save and then quickly build an army at that settlement. But you could also just kind of get lucky to where a caravan's rolling through the mountain territories there, and you just happen to be near it. Next, most of the construct a specific building achievements are pretty easy to get. It's normally in a nearby territory. You just, as you progressively play the game, you're gonna take over those territories. You're gonna see the building. You're gonna build the building. But there is one that is kind of crazy, and that's Khorne's Unmaker of Magic achievement, where you have to construct the Khadeium Paradox, which is all the way in the Red Fortress. So Khorne starts on the far northwest side of the map, and you have to go all the way to the northeast side of the map to get the Red Fortress. And now with the Champions of Chaos DLC, Azazel is going to be holding the Red Fortress, and he's really good at holding that. I don't think I ever played a game to where Cathay was able to take out Azazel. Next up, I thought I'd mention the League of Nations achievement, having 10 military alliances at the same time. You can kind of guess what the better factions to do that with are, but Empire is normally pretty good. Kislev is pretty good. There's all those different Empire nations around there. So just start allying with everyone you can. And then once you meet Cathay, you can probably ally with the Cathayan factions. It's not too difficult as long as you're aware of it and just ally with everyone you can. Hey, you could make a whole campaign out of it, trying to ally with as many factions as possible, and then watch as they all declare war on each other, and you're forced to break these alliances, and then you have very low reliability, and then everyone in the world declares war on you. Good times. I really think, though, the rest of these, you're just going to get as you play the game. As long as you look at the achievement lists and you know what you're going for, you can get all these. Like 60,000 per turn, that is kind of hard to get, but just play through the game. Like I never was able to get that before I won a campaign, but I just kept playing, kept taking over the world, and then deleted a couple of my armies and got it. And if you look at all the lowest percentage achievements, it's all just winning the game on very hard and legendary. And then some of them are just building the buildings, but again, Tzeentch's is a little hard because normally I don't go west. I normally go east and try and fight Cathay. But they shouldn't be hard to get as long as you just play the game. I did want to end this though with just a couple random tips that I see people do, and it just makes the game harder. Obviously, you can play however you want. There are definitely things that I do that make the game harder, but I just like to do them. For example, if I'm able to recruit 20 of a specific hero, I will recruit 1 to wander the map, support my army, or just discover nations to reveal the fog of war, and I will only have 1 per army. No more. My armies have to have only 1 of each specific hero. That's it. It has to look nice and pretty. That's just how I have to play. But anyways, if you are struggling on, say, very hard legendary difficulty, prioritize economy buildings. When you start out a game, you're probably going to have a military building at first. Obviously, there's going to be exceptions, but most of the time, I just delete that immediately. Or maybe on turn 2, 3, if I'm able to recruit from that region. But most of the time, get rid of the building, get money buildings. That is always what I prioritize first. My first and second armies are always the most basic units I can have. It's hard to even afford mid-tier units at the start of the game, and in the early game, 2 or even 3 armies of basic units is better than any mid-tier army. And 2, just being able to cover more territory is great as well. Helps you expand faster, and you're not really ever going to come up against any super strong armies. As long as you're decently competent in your battle skills, you should be all right. But I didn't want to make this too long. I didn't want to go super in-depth because there is a lot to this game, and there's also a lot of people that have covered these subjects. I wanted to make a more condensed version based mainly around Obliterate the Odds. And please, comment how the heck you got this achievement, because it really does not make sense to me. But anyways, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, and/or subscribe. Take care, everybody. Cheers.